Hey friends, Peggy Hall with you from thehealthyamerican.org. You probably know this man, has a lot of nicknames. Gruesome Newsome, New Scum comes to mind. I call him the Gavinator sometimes. And he most likely is going to be running to be the president of the United States. So I think it's very important that we keep our eye on this man who single-handedly has probably brought more profits to the U-Haul Corporation than anyone, with people that are just fleeing the state. But look at all of his accomplishments. Highest poverty rate in the nation. Wow. Highest gas taxes in the nation. I think it's $2.50 now that Californians are paying just in taxes on the gasoline. Those gasoline taxes are supposed to improve the roads, yet my experience in California is we have some of the worst roads ever. They're very dangerous and in very bad disrepair. The highest state income tax in America. Oh, yes, they love to steal right out of your pocket your hard-earned money. And record homelessness in California. This is what we're going to be talking about in this broadcast. Some people have asked me to cover what's called the CARE Court. California Care Court. Now, think about that CARES Act that we had with the cooties, right? They are dovetailing on using this word because it sounds familiar to people, and maybe it will be easier for them to accept this new law that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. So stay tuned. And I'm also going to show you this very strange connection to all of these hexagons. I've done videos in the past about hex and the letter X, and there's going to be another interesting connection with this California homelessness plan called the California CARES Court. I'll do a brief breakdown for you. I thought this was interesting. In the earthquake, I'm using quotation marks, in Morocco, they showed this image with the colors for that color-coded event with the orange and the fuchsia and the blue. And isn't this interesting that the blanket also has this hexagon? And of course, that is the same molecule as, I believe, graphene oxide. And actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that also carbon dioxide? I need to double check on that. But let's do this. I do want to thank the sponsor of this video. Then we will dive right into the nuts and bolts. So let's go here. Actually, the website you want to go to is trimwithpeggy.com. Let me type that in so you will have it. Trimwithpeggy.com. And if you're like me, carrying around a few extra pounds that you want to eliminate, I want you to know about a new study that reveals this surefire way to increase your odds of losing weight. Now, it doesn't work for everyone because you've told me, but my hubby does it, and he gets on the scale every day. Researchers say that this helps you shed unwanted pounds because it keeps your goals at the forefront of your mind. However, if you're like me and you don't want to get on the scale, do Trim with Peggy instead. So this is what hundreds of thousands of people do. They want to accelerate their weight loss and they want to use a supplement. This one is safe. It has all of the ingredients that come right from Mother Nature. You know me, I'm all about being natural. So these are naturally sourced, science-backed ingredients that support weight management, reduced cravings, and a boosted metabolism. I would love for you to try this, friends. You can save up to 51% today. Go to trimwithpeggy.com. As you know, my friends at BioTrust are going to send you additional free bonuses. You get a 60-day satisfaction guarantee. You get VIP health and weight loss coaching for life. So please check this out before it sells out. All right, let's do this. I want to go right to this CARE Act in California. Oh, there was a little sneak peek. Looks like those hexagons again. And take a look at this website. Here we are, Community Assistance Recovery and Empowerment Act, CARE. Now, let me cut right to the chase. People in California and around the country are concerned because they are, well, and I would say sort of it's understandable that they're concerned that this law that I'm about to share with you might mean that someone that is not a human pincushion like you and me, we might be construed as being mentally ill. And if we are mentally ill or schizophrenic or have some kind of psychotic assessment, diagnosis is what I mean to say, then someone, and I'm going to show you who, can actually petition a court for you to be taken away for up to 2 years. All right. So this is why people are concerned. And I want to calm you down right from the get-go. I hate that when people say calm down. What I mean is I want to share the information with you so that you can draw your conclusion that this is something that you need to be aware of, but not be worried about. So here's what I want to do. I want to take you right on over to, I think this is the same page. Let's look at what exactly this is. And here we go. Governor Newsom's new plan. Now, remember, a governor cannot make a law. He did not make this law, but he signed this bill into law. And it took effect this year, January 1st, 2023. You know, and I know that very often they are going to hide their nefarious hidden agendas, as I call them, in something that looks more palatable. So they might have a nice cupcake and the frosting is very appealing and attractive, but when you get down to the actual cupcake, you're like, oh my gosh, what were they hiding here? So let's take a look together, shall we? This stands for CARE, Community Assistance, Recovery, and Empowerment Court, and I'm talking about a judicial court in your county, is a new framework to get people with mental health and substance use disorders the support and care they need. I am all in favor of helping those who do need help legitimately. So I'm not poking fun or deriding anyone that is struggling with mental illness, with substance abuse. I hope that there are caring individuals, whether in their family or even in the government, that are going to help them get the care they need. What some people are concerned about is that those of us that are rational, logical, we have a sound mind, a sound body. We're not living on the street. We're not doing substance abuse. But because we are not following the government, let's say, protocols of becoming a human pincushion, what if they could construe that as a mental illness because we're not playing along with their game? So let me show you how the CARE Court works. California's CARE Court, acting early to get people the support they need. Now, I realize this might be a little hard for you to read, so I'll just summarize it here. The CARE Court is aimed at helping Californians who are suffering from untreated mental health, and that's that slippery slope, and substance use disorders leading to homelessness, incarceration, or worse. Each person is connected with a court-ordered care plan and supporter for up to 24 months. And then you get set up with an individualized care plan. Let's look at the nuts and bolts of this. The idea and what they're selling this is that people that are struggling with an untreated mental illness and also substance use often will end up homeless. And they're trying to attack homelessness by getting people into a government program before they end up homeless. So here's what I really want to show you. Let me see if I can make this any larger here for you. It says that the plan focuses on people with schizophrenia spectrum and other psychotic disorders who may have substance abuse challenges. And this is the troubling one here, friends, who lack medical decision-making capacity. That to me is the alarming phrase. And I'm going to show you how we do have a way in the courts to push back against this, but this is where the slippery slope, it may not be this year, it may not be next year, it may not be in the next 5 years, but it might just be in the next 10 years if we know, and we do know, their incremental approach of going step by step and conditioning people to look to the government to get this kind of care, and for the government to encourage people to point out others that might need the care. And that's a little bit troubling to me as well. Here is the next one that I highlighted. This court-ordered response can be initiated by family. So your spouse, your children, your parents, your siblings, your in-laws, your outlaws could petition a court and say, you know, I'm really concerned about my loved one because I think they're mentally ill. They think that they should leave their body pure. They think that they should breathe oxygen. And I'm very concerned about them. And I think that this court should review their case to determine whether or not they have to go into a community-based program. The county can also initiate this, and community-based social services. So perhaps you need some help. You are down on your luck and you need to get into, I don't know, some, let's say, food support or housing support, and you go in, maybe you need some kind of medical care and you're going to the county to have them pay for this. They may say, well, what about your status? And then they may, again, probably not today or tomorrow, but down the line, don't you think it's possible that they could say, you must have a mental disorder if you don't believe that becoming a human pincushion is good for you and good for the greater good, for the good of all, for the social good, or whatever other phrases they're coming up with, right? The common good. Yeah, who defines it? The behavioral health provider. So let's say you're going through a divorce and you're going to a counselor, and maybe this comes up in your counseling because you are a parent and your spouse or soon to be ex-spouse wants your young child to become a human pincushion and you don't, and this becomes a topic of communication, and suddenly now you are going to be on the list to go and have a court-ordered what do we call it? Intervention. First responders can do this. So let's say, I don't know, you have a car accident or you're having some kind of medical problem and they're taking you away in the ambulance and they're asking you about your medical status and you're telling them that you're a pureblood, and they may say, uh-oh, we got trouble on our hands here. So the court, that's why it's called the care court. And there are going to be judges, I'm going to show that to you in just a moment, who are, and this is all brand new, they're learning what they have to do. And the court can order for up to 12 months and for a renewal for up to another 12 months for you to go into some kind of re-education program. And if you do not successfully complete this, then they can hospitalize you or refer you to a conservatorship, which my understanding is that someone else is in control of your life and you no longer get to make those decisions, including your medical decisions. All counties across the state of California will participate in the care court under the proposal. Let me show you now. I did go a little deeper and I found out, actually, let me do this. There is funding for this, and there are millions, in fact, billions of dollars that are going into all of these programs. And I think it's likely that some of these are going to have a positive effect for those who authentically and genuinely need some help. You might even have a loved one or someone that you know who is on the street suffering from mental illness, from substance abuse, and you believe that this would be helpful for them. I'm hoping that certain people will get the help they need. Now, here's the money that's going into this. We'll look at the total amount of money. This is Mental Health Service Act. This is in the state of California, and likely there are federal funds that come along. So Alameda is up in the Bay Area of California. I want to show you Los Angeles, and I want to show you Orange County, my county. Here we go. The county of Los Angeles, $1 billion, almost $2 billion when we round it up. Wow. And then we've got Orange County, $385 million. San Diego, $434 million. Those were the largest amount of spends that I could see in my research here. And $6 billion. Again, I hope that the people who need it will get the help they need. What I want to do now is show you what the courts are required to do. So give me just one moment. All right, I found this under the California courts website, and it says the overview of the court's role in implementing this CARE Act. So luckily, there are several steps. This judge is explaining exactly what the judges will need to do, just like there's family law court, and there's traffic court, and there's criminal court, and there's civil court. Apparently, there's going to be a CARE court. And the judge will be required, first of all, I'm not familiar with all of this. He's not familiar with all of this, but you can see there are several steps that will have to occur. And at each step of the way, hopefully you have an attorney that will help you if you or a loved one is being petitioned by someone to go through this and you don't want to. So the prima facie review, I believe is the pronunciation, is the initial review, just to see if there's really a case. Then an initial appearance by, I'll just say, you and your attorney and whoever is petitioning the court to send you to this rehab. Then there will be a hearing on the merits, meaning, is there anything really here to go on? Case management. Now, I know about this a little bit because of my lawsuit against my petition against the county. And sometimes you go to court just to set the date for the next hearing. And then you look at the hearings, which is when you actually go and get to give your evidence, and probably there's a deposition or some kind of testimony, and then the status review hearing every 60 days, depending on what the judge decided. So what I want to do, let's go back to my initial picture here. And I actually want to put your mind at ease. I think given these requirements at the court level, that you would have the ability every step of the way to fight this. There would be appeals. The person that is petitioning for you to go into these government sponsored, rehabs, or, get off the street, or hopefully before somebody is on the street. I think that there is a lot of opportunity for you to stand your ground. So I don't want you to spin out of control on this. I do think it's strange, and I want you to tell me in a comment, what do you make of this? I'm going to call it a meme of the hexagons. You could call it just some type of image or a artistic representation of something, but I see it again and again. And I'm going to tell you what I think of it. I see it as conditioning us to think of the hive mind. All right. We're seeing it pop up again and again. I'm also looking at it as with a second look. I want to look deeper at this and say, okay, here we have it for monkeypox, and they've got the hexagons again. This here was strangely just like a lecture series. I just grabbed it off the internet. It looks like it was in Florida. I can see Palm Beach. So again, is this just the new artistic representation of information? Possibly. It might be completely innocuous, or they could be conditioning us or sending symbolism of this hive mind. The hive mind is where we all are being conditioned to think alike, to act alike, to not question, to not diverge or contradict what they are telling us. I just did a video for you prior to this called How They Are Trying to Trap You. So I mentioned looking at the symbolism. Let me know if you are catching on to all of these hexagons used again and again and again. There probably is something deeper in certain cases, and in others, it might be innocuous. Certainly when we're seeing things come out from the government or something like this, maybe that's a symbol that this is a staged, orchestrated event, or that there's something more to it than meets the eye. It might be a kind of wink at those who are in the know to say, okay, we're one of you, we're in the club, but all y'all others ain't in it. All right, friends, always love to hear from you. Leave me a comment here. And also, please get on my free Substack, peggyhall.substack.com. Expand the description box and you'll see all of the resources that I have for you there. The Substack is how I'm going to be delivering my newsletter. So make sure that you are on that. It's absolutely free. And it's a way that I can stay in touch with you, especially if they ever decide to take down this channel. I'm also over at Living Swell with Peggy Hall here on YouTube on Mondays at 11 a.m. Pacific, where we talk about how to keep your head above the waves in these stormy seas of life. Thanks for being on board, everybody. Big shout out to the moderators. And I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming broadcast.